Okay, we're here with Sharon Craig, and she is running for Magnolia ISD Place 6.
Yes.
My name is John Wertz. It's Monday, March 22nd. With me is David Smith, Billy Graff, Bob Bagley, Del Fessenden, Pat Tibbs, and Dennis Tibbs. And as we talked about, Sharon, if you'd like, go ahead and take up to 5 minutes. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for this position. And thanks again for coming in.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, well, I've thought about running for ISD trustee for a long time, but I've only been, my husband we're both retired now, and I can do pretty much anything I want to. And I happened to mention to somebody in this room that I thought I'd like to run for Magnolia ISD. Oh, well, there are going to be 2 places, you know, up for re-election. And I went, oh, okay, so this person, I don't know if I should mention who this person is, but anyway,
Okay.
I won't, just contacted me and said, hey, you know, if you want to run, you know, you got to get in there and do the deal and go over to the school district and, what do they call it? Not apply, but whatever it is. Put your file, thank you, Dennis, to file, because I've never done anything political before except vote, and there's been one time in my life that I didn't vote, and I can't remember what it was. I was out of the country doing whatever, that I never voted once I was eligible. So, I am very passionate about education. I'm a Texas certified Spanish teacher. I'm also bilingual in ESL. And I love teaching. And I'm someone that enjoyed the benefits of a good, solid, classical, old school type education. Was born in Pasadena, Texas, just across the street from Houston. Went to Pasadena schools my first 2 years, and then through grades 3 through, I don't need to go into too much detail, 3 through, through 6, low 6, I went to Houston ISD, and then my dad married, and we moved across town, and I attended Kincaid School from high 6th through 9th, and that was a fantastic experience. That's where I got my interest in Spanish language, because they start teaching Spanish there in 3rd grade. Well, anyway, so that became my passion, was languages. But anyway, I got a terrific education there. It was a very patriotic place. At that time, John H. Cooper was the headmaster, and he started the Cooper School out here in the Woodlands. Well, anyway, so it was a great environment, and my dad was a businessman in Houston, very successful in his head of insurance agency. He was involved in a lot of civic activities, and he always voted conservative. The rest of our family didn't, but Mac was different. So anyway, so I grew up and I thought, well, I'm going to do what my daddy does. And we talked one day about what was liberal and what was conservative. And I had no idea, and he just kind of gave me a little instruction and so I understood. And so I also think it's important that I am a native Texan, have lived in Magnolia for 35 years. I've taught in the district. I've seen a lot of things that I'm not particularly wild about that have happened there. And I have 10 years total teaching experience, the last 7 being with Extraordinary Education, which is a private homeschool co-op. So I've had an opportunity to see the students that come from a homeschool background and those that come from a public school background, and how many parents take their kids out of a public school and put them in a homeschool. So, and I've talked to some of these parents, and every now and then a child wants to go back to public school, so they may let them go. But I believe that there need to be some changes in the school curriculum, and I think we need to reinstitute the teaching of civics. Ron DeSantis just said that in Florida this last week. I think we need to make Texas history a mandatory class for all students. We need to place more emphasis on academics than on athletics. And there is something called social emotional learning that I think they're trying to push, and I think it's in our school district, which I don't care for. There may be some ways to realize there are children that have issues with growing up in a poor background and they're not socialized, they don't know how well they're going to get along in school with other people, but I think that's a minority. Anyway, any curriculum that emphasizes socialist, progressive, and globalist propaganda, and that's what I will call it, over true patriotic American beliefs and philosophy, I'm against it. And we'll never go, hey, that's a good thing. So if I'm the only one that would vote against it, maybe that'll be a good thing, if I get in. And then let's keep our children, they're our future leaders. Let's keep them grounded in the vision and legacy of our founding fathers. To me, that's so important. So my primary reason for running for position 6 is to serve the students and parents of Magnolia ISD to promote, champion, and uphold the nuclear family, parental rights, and the freedoms our great country has long held as sacred, unalienable rights given to us by Almighty God and not by government. I'll always put students, parents, and grandchildren first in every way. Okay.
All right, thank you very much, appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So, help me understand, what is this social, what?
Hi, Dave. We even do something?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
you maybe don't say it.
Are you still feeling why my eye is itching and I'm...
Oh, yes.
The,
I have dry.
explain the social emotional learning process, is that part of IB, International Baccalaureate, which you alluded to?
You know, I don't know that it is, but yeah, I'm definitely against the International Baccalaureate Academy. That's bad, bad, bad. It's trying to produce, I know this is not exactly what you asked me, it's trying to produce global citizens. We need citizens that are citizens of Texas and citizens of the United States of America.
Well, doesn't Magnolia High School have that on
Oh,
their
yes,
school?
both the
An
high
IB
schools.
school. Whoa.
I saw that when I was working voting the last couple of years, and I thought, what the heck is that? Excuse me. Well, anyway, I dug into it and sort of found out what it was. But the social emotional learning, that was new to me, so I dug around. And you can go look it up online, and it talks about children that are deprived some way at home, like maybe they're abused, or they don't have a mom or a dad, or there's different stuff going on. Maybe they don't have enough food or whatever. So these children are going to probably come up without what? They don't have enough care, they're neglected, they have maybe some emotional problems and issues with socializing with other people, with children. And so, but I think they're in a minority. And I have taught a lot of different children that had these issues, and if you just show them love and kindness and let them know you care, they respond to that. And so I don't see the need for some big push for curriculum that's going to target this and make a big deal out of it, because I just think it can be handled if it's a good teacher and it's a good loving environment for children. That's my feeling.
So would that kind of indicate that maybe there's not that in the schools, that there's too much emphasis on the testing and not enough focus on the individual student for teaching them the basics, the 3 R's, and showing that love and compassion and getting them.
Yeah, now this is what I've seen as a teacher of Spanish. Now Spanish is a totally different deal. I always prepared my own lesson plans, except at Magnolia. Now I was in an alt-cert thing, just learning to do that, to get my certificate. But you want to look and see who your students are. You can tailor your approach to them. Like I've had students and this happened at Magnolia High School too. I had a boy that was, it was when they did the pass or play, no pass, no play. I don't know if they still do that or not. This boy was going to fail Spanish, and his mother came and talked to me, and I thought, why don't we just do this? I realized if I gave him an oral test, he passed, and he passed my class and did great. I've had other students that have dysgraphia. You have to be able to look at a student and care about that child enough to go or talk to the parent, because they won't always tell you, how can I best teach this child? Or maybe you talk to someone that knows more about it than you do, and then you just kind of tailor it to that kid. And the other students don't care. So I had students that could type, a dysgraphic kid, and his brain would not tell his hand to write. So he wrote in runes and all this Viking stuff that he liked to write with. But when he took a test or did his homework, I let him type it, and he made an A in my class. This is a child that had all kinds of issues. And but anyway, but he was very good in my class. I never had discipline issues with kids. If they know, to me, if you know, they care. I hope I'm answering your question. Because you can tailor it. But now, my classes were the biggest class I had was 8 or 10 at this homeschool co-op. But I had classes at Magnolia, 31 students in one class, and I was learning to do this, okay? And they put all these boys in my class, and I had a lot of things happen that were not good there, but I'm just saying.
Okay. Dave?
So Magnolia ISD is going to experience a lot of growth in the future.
Well, hopefully they will.
Yeah, well, I guess they got 10,000 homes planned on 1480 going out of town.
Mm-hmm.
And then as of the last legislative session, they put a cap of 2.5% increase in the budget. If you exceed that, you have to get a vote of your citizens. So it's going to be a much more difficult environment than in the past. A lot more budget issues. Is the cap. So are you prepared to deal with that tension?
Well, I don't know what it's going to be like. I've had a friend that said, don't do it, more than one person. I thought, well, that's fine. But I'm not just going to rubber stamp something because someone says, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. I will go and I will look at it. I really haven't had a chance to look at the budget for this year, but I know a little bit about it. You don't just start out with what you did last year and add 2.5% or add more money. You need to look at what you have, and if you've used the money that you've got, and if you've used it appropriately, and if you're within being conservative with it, and not going out and spending ridiculous amounts of money on things that you could spend less money. So I don't know if I answered your question. Are you talking about raising taxes? Well, you can't raise taxes unless they put it before the voter.
Beyond 2.5%, right?
Yes, I think that's it.
Yeah.
And then they have to tell you, I just was reading this last night, I was answering all these questions, and I went, I don't know a lot about that, so I looked it up. And you have to tell the voter, there is going to be a tax increase, your taxes are going up.
Bill?
Okay, since you are actively running for this position, are there any specific initiatives that you would really like to see take place during your tenure that you are going to kind of run with the ball on that could make a real difference in the education of these students?
Well, I think I said that I would really like to see some of the curriculum that I don't think they even teach it anymore. When I was at Magnolia High School, and I took Texas history. To me, our history of our country is so vital. Otherwise, the kids are going to miss it. They won't even know it's out there. A lot of them have no idea. So I think it'd be real important to bring back more basic curriculum and not a lot of touchy-feely stuff like that. There are a lot of things you can do with history. Oh my gosh, you can have so much fun with it. You can do, you can act out things. You can have them write. You can have them do research. Dig it out for themselves, because what they dig out for themselves is what they're going to learn, not what someone just gives them. And I don't think there was something that she asked earlier, as far as all these tests they give. Now, I never had to do that because Spanish is a different deal. They don't. But they have these, it used to be the TEKS and the this and all these different state tests, and all the teachers do is they teach to those tests so the kids can pass them. So the school can look good and get, this is an exemplary school or whatever. I am against that. I think it's wrong. And kids are not learning. What are they learning? They're learning to memorize something instead of something that they're going to internalize in their heart. So I would be against, I think we need to change. Of course, that's a state thing, so I don't know. Parents are going to have to get involved. I think if parents understand what's going on at the state level and all these liberal types coming into our state trying to change us and make us California or something, then I think parents will wake up a little bit and go, wait, we don't want this. So I don't know. I don't know. I would want to have civics, Texas history, and, oh, that's it?
You finish your.
That if I could do something about that, make a suggestion. Let's look into re-inaugurating some of these wonderful classes, these courses that we used to teach that probably a lot of us, I'm looking at our age, are all kind of a similar age probably, that we had in school. And I enjoyed them. I had Miss Gladys Little, 7th grade at Kincaid School. Never married, she knew her Texas history, and we had a ball in Miss Little's class. We did little field trips, we did different cool stuff. I love that. Kids don't get to do it anymore. They don't just be sitting in a classroom. So anyway, there. If that's a good answer, I don't know. But that's my answer.
So Texas law requires that the Constitution be taught on one day of the year. Is there anything that you could do as a board member, or would you be willing to do as a board member to make it a policy within Magnolia ISD that the Constitution was taught throughout the year, no different than what English or reading would be done?
I think it absolutely needs to happen. And the only thing I can think of is that I stand up and I make a proposal. Folks, we need to look at this. And I go and I present, I do research, I present evidence, I present ideas, and the benefits of doing it. And Texas has got the coolest history. Oh my gosh. You can go and read Tales of Old Time Texas with J. Frank Dobie and do all kinds of neat things. And the kids don't even know about that. So I would definitely be willing to do that. I would probably need help from other motivated, like-minded people, and send me ideas. And yes, I will. And I will not back away from doing that. I would love to do that.
I don't live in Magnolia.
Well, I'm sorry, Dale.
But from what I understand, they kind of have their minds made up as to what they do, what they want to do. So I haven't attended any Magnolia ISD meetings. How many have you attended? How well have you gotten to know the current board members? How well have you sized up what you're facing?
I actually went to the board meeting on the 8th of March. That's the only one I've been to since way back when Charlie Riley was on the school board, which has been over 20 years ago probably. So anyway, so my kids, what are you laughing? Oh. Anyway, just saying, so I've only been to the one, and I'll tell you what really concerned me is that they spent, and this, I'm just gonna say this. I was concerned about it. Because I was going to speak. I was going to read something about they were going to vote on the mask mandate that night. Okay, whether they were going to let it end on the 10th or they were going to wait till April 1st and all that. And they had this lengthy presentation at the beginning. All the parents were there, grandparents, everybody, by teachers, art teachers, different people, for sports awards, and they had the art award for, I guess, the rodeo. We didn't have the rodeo because I used to be involved with that, but it took forever. And I kept thinking, oh my gosh, teacher of the year, this and that, and that's fine, student of the month, that's all good. But I understood from someone that I went with, that used to come after the business part that went at the beginning, when everybody was there, because after they present all these little awards and all these little kudos, everybody came to see that, they leave and they miss the important meaty part. So what I would like to see is we go back to business first. What are we going to vote on? Anyone want to speak to something that is on their heart? Then you have a chance to stand up there and let other people hear you. And it was passionate about the mask things, guys. I'm just telling you. But hardly anyone heard it because all those people left. So I'm just saying, that is something that needs to be changed if they flip-flop that and
So
switch
did
it.
they vote the mask to keep the mask, or you voted?
What they actually voted, because there are 7 trustees, and they had a discussion, they each said what they thought. Some of them had, well, they said they had COVID, and they talked about the mask. Well, anyway, more people, we had maybe 10 people that spoke against it, and why. And what they did was, they said, well, you know, Greg Abbott had just said on that day that he was gonna open it up on the 10th, which was Wednesday, 2 more days. And I thought, hey, that's great, finally. And then the school board decided, well, we're gonna do what the TEA says. I'm sorry, the Texas Education Agency has way too much say in what we do in our local schools. I'm serious as a heart attack. It's like, I'm very, very concerned about that part. And what they did was, instead of voting to open up schools on the 10th, which was 2 more days, they said, well, you know what we're going to do is we're going to wait and we're going to do what the TEA says, and they said April 1st. But they say, but, someone spoke up and said, well, you know, but we have 10 days of spring break, and so it'll only be for a few days when they come back. Kids and parents didn't want to hear that. But that's what they're doing, and they are still not open. Now, someone explained that to me, all because they want to do what the TEA suggests. They all voted for it. I would have been against, not against the not removing the mandate, but against doing it until waiting until April the 1st.
Were masks required for that meeting?
Oh no,
Correct.
I certainly didn't wear one. Most, look at Bob laugh, but most of the people, most of the trustees had a mask on. I don't think Superintendent Stevens was wearing one. Almost everybody did. If they were speaking, they would lower them or whatever. But I would say maybe half the people there wore masks. But everybody that was speaking, none of those people did. So.
All right. Leander ISD was in the news a week or 2 ago. Did you see any of that video coverage?
I did not see that, but it's probably that, on my part, I was presenting it, that school districts are being sued by parents. Yes.
Well,
Is that what that was, Leander?
Well, this was a parent reading a book that was required reading. And it was so graphic and explicit, it would have made a sailor blush.
Sailor Bush, oh my gosh.
Anything you could hear from it. So the board sat there, actually they gave her 2 or 3 minutes to read it and say all sorts of pornographic words. They all sat there and listened to it, and then she finished. So my question was, something like that was so outrageous. How could that go under the radar? Will board members be able to go to classes? Do you know what they're teaching in the school? And if that happened to you, would you ask somebody to have come to you before, or would you interrupt it, or would you listen? And how should that be handled, and how would you keep something like that from going undetected? It's not just one person reading the passage. It was a book that was required reading for some sort of high school student. I don't know what the age was.
You for a class, a whole class, or was this a student that picked a book that the
No,
student?
it was required
Okay.
reading, best I understand.
Okay, this is something that I said in somewhere in one of the answers to one of my questions that I sent, is that there should be no reading material that parents don't know what their kids are reading. They can have access to anything they want. These Chromebooks and the libraries, I'm looking into whether Magnolia ISD Library has, you think what it's called, ESOB? It is a library service. I have a friend who's a public librarian in Magnolia, and she said she doesn't believe they have it in the public library. But I want to find out, does our school district have this? Because it allows students immediate access to any type of pornography, prostitution, anything you could not even want to think about right there in the school. And you can get stuff on the Chromebooks. Kids can look things up. I think that is terrible. Well, I'm going to personally, that's one of my projects, is I'm going to dig into it and find out, do we have that? And I hopefully know a few people that can help me dig it up. If not, I'm just going to go over and ask. Or I'm going to go over and get on a computer and find out for myself. But that should not be going on. And parents should have, there used to be an approved reading list. Anybody remember those? You can do this or this or this or whatever. Well, parents need to be able to have approval of a reading list and know, for an individual teacher, not every student gives a reading list, but for an individual class, this is the reading material that's suggested, and parents need to know what it is, and you have a chance to approve it, like vet it like you're doing with me, and say, hey, my child is not going to do this. The parents need to have a right to opt their child out of that, opt it out of the class, do whatever, and then there needs to be it published abroad what this teacher was doing.
But we have a researcher can help you if you have a problem.
Oh, honey, I need help.
Do you know what, you know what C-scope is, just real quick? C-scope?
No, what is that?
It was a system that was in play with the school districts for, I don't know, 10, 20 years before we even knew about it.
Oh.
And it was everything online, parents forbidden to see the material.
Oh,
Teachers
yeah.
forbidden to disclose the teaching methods.
Mhm.
Communism was the primary, the most beneficial form of society.
Precursor to Common Core.
Oh, well, we don't, do we have I don't think we have Common Core.
People-
We thought it.
Back door.
Okay, I'm totally against Common Core. It's horrible.
Anyway, we'll give you her name.
Oh, please, honey, give me that information and I will go straight to
If
that
you're from
person.
Magnolia, you probably know
Oh,
her.
she knows her.
Oh, I do. I know exactly.
Redhead.
Another redhead. What do they used to say? Listen, have I heard all my life? Redheads have a temper. Redheads are feisty. I am. But I can be sweet. I still have red. See, here it is. Anyway, but I am passionate about, no one has the right to do something that's wrong. You don't have that right. And you certainly don't have that right to do it with other people's children that you're usurping. And money. That one really gets me. Come on. Yes. Okay, well, I guess you got my passion on that.
So one of the questions we had, do you believe a lack of funding from the state is the primary reason for lower educational outcomes compared to other states or nations? And you first said no, but then you said, and I don't know if you meant to say the latter part. I believe that lack of funding is the reason for lower education. Did you mean to say?
Oh, no, it is not. Of course it's not. So where's that? Where did I put it?
She missed the don't.
Listen, do you know when I was doing this? Between 9 p.m. and 3:30 a.m., 6.5 hours, because I couldn't get the
It's
questions.
under budget,
Okay.
and the fourth question.
Oh, number 4. Okay,
Under
wait a minute.
budget,
Okay.
under budget.
It's question number
Category.
21.
Oh, he said number 4. 21.
Question number 21.
21. Oh, good Lord, how did I write that? I must have been asleep. Read me the question again. What does the question say?
Well, it was just a clarification. You just.
No, I do not believe the lack of funding is the reason.
Okay.
Because
Well, so
look
what do
at
you
all
think
the
it is?
billions and billions of dollars that's thrown, and oh, we're gonna fix it with money. No.
So basically, it's not, that's what you meant to put.
I meant to put no, and I'm so sorry. Like I said, look at question 21. That was probably 3 a.m. when I'm doing this.
And the reason being, the other part of your answer was, public schools and institutions have become indoctrination centers. For
Yeah, they
liberal
are.
leftists. So that's.
That's
really
exactly,
your
so I
answer.
said,
Okay.
I do not believe that the lack of funding is the reason. Obviously not.
Okay, all right.
So sorry about that. I messed up.
The TEA has a financial integrity rating system for
Yes.
ISDs. And MISD, Magnolia's ISD is superior, scored 98 out of 100.
It's superior, it's called first or something. They scored 98 out of a possible 100. I'd like to see, how did they get that score? How did they
Right.
arrive at that score?
Is that a good thing? Doesn't it kind of disguise the indoctrination?
Oh, yes,
that's
of course
coming
it
in?
does. So that's
I mean,
why I'm gonna dig
everybody's like,
into it.
oh, well, we've got a great financial
Okay.
backing, but, we're creating socialists out of our students.
Yeah, well, let me
What
tell
good is that?
Let me tell you something else I saw. This was interesting. I'm just looking, this is this morning when I was doing this, that I was looking into Quit laughing at me, just because we're friends. Okay, so it was looking at what it was saying. It was in the part where it was talking about Superior and all that. And it was saying, oh, that Magnolia is a highly rated school district and blah, blah, and all this. And I beg to differ with some of the things they said. And they said that, then they said that 48% of our student population doesn't have enough to eat, lives in poverty and all this kind of stuff. And I thought, where are they getting this information? And yet it's such a great school district, and I don't see how those two things match up. In other words, I'm going to question it and see how do we rate in what areas. I don't know what questions they ask them. They look at their financial, all their financial records, in which I need to get more details on that. But that it put it in there that it's such a great school district and highly regarded and everything. Well, maybe it is. But I'm just going to say my experience has not been that. I'm against that. I will call that into question from my own experience and the experience of other people I know and parents that I talk to. Being a teacher, I talk to people. So, yeah, I would call that into question. I'd like to know, again, what questions do they ask? And I don't know, I just have my ideas, and I have been told there's certain questions I can't ask.
Okay, we got about 10 minutes.
So, let's say you win, you've won, now you're a trustee. So most likely, the first day, you'll be, given a document to sign. from
Oh, okay.
The superintendent. And basically this document is written by lawyers.
Have you seen it? Oh, it's written by a lawyer, I got you.
It's written by the ISD lawyers, and basically it says that it forbids you from seeking information within the ISD unless you go to the superintendent. So it restricts you from getting information.
Then I better get it before I get in.
Well,
If
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know, but I guess the question is, do you feel obligated to sign that document?
I don't
You're
sign
elected
anything.
in your own right.
Listen,
So
I
why would
don't
you feel
sign
obligated to
anything unless I read it. And if I have a question, I'll say, hey, I've done this before. I'm striking this part because I don't agree with that. I'm not going to agree with that. You can, as far as I know, I can do that. Okay. To begin with, it's wrong that you cannot go and find information on your own. Excuse me. That's like the teachers, well, we're going to tell you what we want you to learn and that's all you get. Really? No. I'm against that. I'm an intelligent, educated person, and I have a very good education. It's not perfect. I wish I had a master's or a doctorate or whatever, but I didn't have the time to do it because I was raising my kids as a single parent for a long time. But that's wrong, and I would question that. So I'm going to read every word and say, excuse me, I'm not going to sign this because this, or I'm going to strike this. And if they don't like it, are they going to unelect me?
Can't do anything to you, can they?
No. So I appreciate that question because
So remember that when you, your first
When they
day,
put that in front
when
of
they
you.
put that in front of you.
Okay, this is the thing. How many people do you know that will just, they give them some, oh, you gotta sign it, sign it, sign it, sign it. I will never do that on a budget, on anything that has to do with raising taxes or whatever. I know there was an issue a couple of years ago. There was a big issue. There have been several things that there were gonna be a tax hike or whatever, and people weren't told. Or people that are asleep, a lot of people, all they do is, oh, it's an election, school board election. Oh, gee, I don't know if I have time to do it. Oh, I forgot, when was it? They don't know when it is. Okay, so, there needs to be education. I don't know how, there's some people that just don't care, they're not gonna care, but there are people that are passionate. And I think more people are waking up and they're gonna go, whoa, I need to know what's going on here. Tell me. It's like can I just say this real quickly? So I had a knee surgery 2 years ago, I'm sorry. And I had things that happened to me with Dr. Price, and he was my doctor. He replaced my knee, it was horrible. A nurse and a person came in, a tech, and this nurse did something she never ever should have done. It absolutely caused me great physical pain. And when I went back after I'd been discharged and came back for my month visit or whatever, he said, anything you need to tell me? And I said, yes. And I told him this, and he said, tell me about it. That's going to be me. I want to know. I'm not going to just do something because someone says, you need to vote for this, you need to say this is, I'm not going to do that because that is not my training, that is not my Christian belief in my duty as a person. It's not, and I'm not a politician, and I'm not gonna act like one.
Really?
Just to kind of touch off on that for a second, what do you think you can and what will you attempt to do as a council member to increase the levels of transparency between the administration and the public?
Okay, well, where was the thing, one of them were talking about, where was it? I think everything needs to be put on a website, and they need to be,
Like 6 inches up from the end.
yes, and don't put it at the end where everybody can't see it. It needs to have, like, they go in and they'll have, oh, the such and such and then this and this, all these things we read all the time on our phones or whatever. And draw someone's attention to it and say, oh man, you need to read this part. And they go, what? People will wake up and say, wait a minute, I don't want that. So, I don't know if I answered the question, but I tend to go like, wait, what was that? So, it needs to be that anything that has to do with messing with parental rights, messing with students' rights, curriculum that is questionable, all of it needs to have vetting, and parents have a right to go and get a book and read the book. And don't have any of this hidden stuff. Because to me, there is an agenda behind it all, and I want to find out, where is this coming from? And I'm just going to say it. Who is getting this? And I know it, you know it happens everywhere. It's political.
And how do you stop it? That's the question. You'll be on the council,
On the board.
on the board, on the ISD council.
Yeah.
How do you stop it?
Well, I'll begin with, I'll just speak out against it. I'll call it to everyone's attention, and I believe this needs to happen when they reverse the order of business and put the business first. Let's have a business meeting first and get this out of the way, and then we'll have fun, right? That's what everybody likes to do anyway. Come on. But if people don't know, they're just, hey, people have got lives and they've got their businesses or their kids, or they've got sick family or whatever they have going on with them. And if they don't know, someone doesn't draw it to their attention, they go, wait a minute, I didn't know about that. Like, look at me, I didn't know about this SEL thing. And I don't know, was it this group that, it was the Montgomery County Republican Party that spoke out against it.
The SEL?
Yes. Oh yeah, I did, I read it.
Oh.
No, ESL is English as a second language. No, SEL, social emotional learning. That. Now ESL, that has a place, but it can't keep going on forever and ever and ever because I can teach ESL. So I don't know, did I answer your question? I mean, I will do everything I can, and if anyone has suggestions for me, do I need to stop?
Yeah, I've got a question, because
Oh.
we're running out of time.
Yeah, okay, well, that's fine. I'll keep talking forever. Go ahead, ask my husband.
5 minutes before closing.
Oh, before closing?
Before her closing.
Okay, so, who decides who the superintendent is? Does the board not?
You know, I'm not totally sure of that. I have a feeling it's otherworldly or something, maybe Martians. I don't know. That sounds ugly to
As far
say.
as I know, the board is the one that hires the superintendent. If the superintendent is hired by the board, then he or she becomes a subordinate to the board,
He
correct?
should be answering to the board and not the board to him.
Exactly. So-
Yes, he's an employee.
Right. So what would, and I don't know what happens at Magnolia, but I know other school districts that the superintendent sits at the board and pretty much runs the show. What, do you believe that's the way that it should be, or do you believe the board should be running the board meetings?
Absolutely, the board should be running the board meetings. Now, what I did notice on the 8th, and I watched this of March, was that the superintendent was there without a mask, and I think it's Gary Blizzard, whoever Buzzard was his name, whoever the president, he was actually conducting it. He pretty much was. And it seemed to be that everyone was having a say. It seemed very equitable. Some people spoke more than others, but I did not notice that he took over anything. Now, he did have some things to say, but I felt that, I didn't feel like he was running it.
I wasn't accusing him of it.
Oh, no,
I'm
no,
just
oh,
making a
no.
statement that other boards do that, so.
No, as my take on it was that Superintendent Stevens was not doing that. Is that my, oh, I can't even see. 15 seconds. Oh, well,
I want to turn your timer off for,
okay.
not that timer, but the timer that makes it go to sleep. First one almost done anyway, except for her closing. Dale?
Okay.
3 minutes left, go ahead.
Go, Dale.
Have you got an example you can give us? Because you're going to be a salmon swimming upstream.
Oh, honey, I understand that.
And have you done that before? Can you give us an example of something where you've been pushing up and had success in getting there? Achieving your objective?
Oh, wow.
Real life experiences.
Okay, well, I would say that I broke my leg at the knee. New Year's Eve, listen, New Year's Eve of 2010. I went, what the heck? I stepped out a door and fell. Oh my gosh. I could not get up. I spent 3 months in the hospital. They didn't do a surgery on me. I went through 4 months of rehab. Okay, this is just me. And I kept saying, we had this big room where they had balls and all this kind of equipment and stuff. And you do a treadmill, you do whatever. And they'd say, Sharon, do 10. And I said, can I do 50? I would. That's me, because I wanted to get better faster. So that's about the only thing I can think of. And this went on for 4 months. I got really strong. I did really well. And then I started getting arthritis in my knee. Okay? And eventually it got to where it was, what do you call it, knock-kneed. And Dr. Price said, you have to have surgery. So I went through that, and that was another nightmare. It's worse than having my 2 babies. Anyway, I went through another 4 months of rehab, of doing all this, all the exercise and everything. And I did the same thing, and I made a really great recovery. And I'm having some issues with my knee right now. It's not totally right, but because I had a little car wreck and I bunged it up. But anyway, but for me, if I can say I'm going to do that, and I'm going to get this progress, and I'm going to keep on going. You ask my kids. Mom doesn't ever give up. She keeps going. They ask me that. Oh, and so what I did was I just added something to my list of things that I'm passionate about. I'm going to be teaching the classes they're 12 weeks long, for La Alianza de los Nuevos Americanos, the Alliance of New Americans. I'm so excited about it. I met the most wonderful people. It's a way for me to give back with what I can do. And they say, you know how to do so many different things, so we're going to use you here and here and here, but I haven't found out where. But I added that, and I thought, why did I do this? I'm doing too many things. But I thought, I'm bored. I haven't had to work now. I quit teaching. But I'm not going to stop working and doing something.
She got a short one.
Okay, short one. Let me ask you about taxpayer-funded lobbying. Every
Oh.
year, the Republican Party lists that as a legislative priority. Every session, we go and talk to our reps, but almost nothing ever gets done. And the school districts are some of the biggest users of taxpayer-funded lobbying. So when the school district hires a lobbyist, is that something
Oh,
that
do
the
we
board
hire
votes on?
lobbyists? Oh, great.
Hire or grow them, I don't know, but you end up with them.
Okay, honey, well, I don't like these lobbyists. They're evil, and so many of them, and all they're out is for money, money,
So
money.
you're pledging if that question comes up, you'll say, no, we don't need no damn lobbyist.
We don't need any lobbyists. I may not say the expletive there, Dennis.
Well, be clear about it, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I'm against it. Come on. Okay, this is where, did you read what I said about character? You go back and read what I said about character on this. Does everybody have a copy of my thing? Hold on. Because I didn't write, I got tired of writing all these questions out. Okay. I put here, the private conduct of any individual who is a public servant or official is the key to that individual's personal integrity. Character is the issue. Remember Bill Clinton? Character's not the issue, stupid. Yes, it is. There's no right to do that which is wrong in public or in private. One's morality will determine one's choices. If a public servant is compromised, that person is vulnerable to corruption in other areas. And that would go along with money, filthy lucre. The love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Not all evil, all kinds of evil. And it's way too prolific a commodity in the political world. So I am totally against it. It makes me angry. And then they make promises and they don't do anything, right?
We'll expect a no vote.
Expect a what? You will get a no vote. I put it in here somewhere. Where did I put it? I don't remember where I put it. It's in here somewhere.
That's all right.
Well, anyway, you know I said it.
We thought.
Why don't you take your up to 5-minute closing and we'll wrap it up?
What I want to say.
Oh,
okay.
Anything you want to finish up on?
Okay.
That way end the rest.
I just want to say that I believe that a person like me, I don't have any access to grind except what I see things that need to change in this school district. I am a lady. I'm well educated. I was well brought up by my daddy who was a stickler for everything. So we need to be civil, have good manners. Don't get into petty squabbles. Let's have a conversation and discuss things like adults and not this deal about climb up if you don't agree with me. No, let's discuss it and let's maybe come to some type of an agreement if we can. I won't compromise on certain issues. I will not do that. But I believe that and I told someone I'm going to play the native Texan card. I am a native Texan, proud of my state, love it. My family has lived in Texas forever and ever. My husband's family too. He's from Texarkana. And my dad was a businessman with a very successful insurance business in Houston. He was involved with Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Every kind of thing you can think of, Houston Farm and Ranch, all kinds of organizations. He was a civic leader. People don't know anymore because he died when he was 48 years old. But you stand for what you believe in. You need to take a stand if you have one and speak it out. That is my right as an American citizen. Still, they're not going to take it away. I'm going to keep on talking. You know, I'm one of those people. But your principles are your principles, and you don't compromise on them. And you put first things first. And if you make a mistake, then you apologize. If you say something that you misspeak, whatever that term came from, don't lie to people, ever tell the truth. Remember the word, your word is your bond. Does anybody remember hearing that growing up? Do you hear it anymore? It's like, what? You don't hear about Roy Rogers anymore either, but I'm saying, listen to your heart. I'm a person that I pray. I love the Lord. I love Jesus. I'm expecting Him to come soon. And I am bound by my commitment to Him to do what's right. Or I'm sinning against other people, and I have a very tender conscience. And there's too many people today that blow it off, they don't care. That is not me. I will not lie to people. I will not take money. In fact, I've already told someone, I said, if anyone were to come up to me and say, hey, Miss Craig, or hey, Sharon, we'd like you to do such and such and this, we're going to give you, make a sweeten the pot with something, I'd say, absolutely not, and I would go and report publicly that person approached me. That's what I would do. And people are going to be mad as heck against you, but that is how I feel. You can ask my husband sitting out there, he'll take that, Sharon. So anyway, I'm just saying, I believe I would be the best candidate. And I know I'm getting a really late start, but I've lived in this district 35 years, have seen a lot of things happen, and some of the things I don't like. And I would like this to be a place where people can trust their teachers, they can trust their mayor, they can have faith that the school board that they vote for has got their best interests in heart and not some personal little deal on the side. And I'm not saying anyone's doing that, I'm just saying it happens. There's temptations there. But I'm going to guard my heart like the Bible says. So I'm just saying, you know, if you value that at all, then this is the type of person I am. You ask anybody that knows me, and I know near 35 years, a lot of people know me, and people said, I'll vote for you, Sharon. And I said, great. I said, then give me some help and go out and help me do this or that or whatever. Okay, I guess that's about all I need to say, but I would appreciate your vote. I really do, and I think all the people that are helping me. And if I get in, I get in. If I don't, it's fine. I will have given it my best shot.
All right, thank you very much.
I didn't think I was going to have